And we're live. Hey everyone, and good evening from this side of the world. Pretty cold here. And welcome to today's episode of Everything Outside Code. Today's stream is pretty special to me because it's with someone that that's really like impacted my life and my career. So I'm excited to have Chris on the stream today. As usual, we're going to be talking about everything outside code. A bunch of us are great at building software, but maybe not so great at selling software and getting users. So we're going to be talking about that stuff, bit of like the, I would say, boring stuff. But anyways, we just get straight to it. If you have any questions, you could just ask them in the comments, and Chris would take them primarily, and I could, support from time to time. So yeah, let's welcome Chris to the show. Chris, you could just introduce yourself, and we get the ball rolling.
Hey, everybody. My name is Chris. I am a developer for about 20 years now. I started coding when I was 14. And yeah, so I started a company when I was 23 years old, built that for about 6 years, where I met William uh, and worked very closely with him and was able to get it acquired by DigitalOcean and joined DigitalOcean for a bit, for 4 years actually. And I have recently left, and now I work at a company called SourceGraph, and I'm also building a new project called VideoTap, um, which uses AI to kind of we take a video and then we create all the marketing material like social media clips, blog posts, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
what's the link to Video Tab? Could you share that in the comments?
yeah, it's videotap.com.
You snag.com. How did you get it?
Auction. We had .io, and I don't know. We got really lucky. Like we looked at .com, and it somehow just expired, and they didn't renew it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
Oh,
was like four
I
hundred
guess
dollars.
it's
Yeah,
every entrepreneur's dream is to wake up
it,
and see your dream domain expired and you can just buy it.
you could just buy it. Yeah, no, it was a dream come true. That's why I knew. I'm like, okay, this project we have to like continue because we got the real domain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So everyone check out VideoTab. And yeah, so we could just take things back before we eventually get to VideoTab. Could you tell us about the business at 23? How did you get it started? Where did the motivation come from?
Yeah, yeah. To I guess the motivation there was I used it as my personal journal. Like I think I've gotten into my head a little bit recent years of like, oh, I have to make money immediately on a new project. I have to build this thing because there's a market for it, and I found product market fit and all that good stuff. But like ultimately, the last company that I built that turned successful, I built it for myself, and I didn't even think it was going to go anywhere. Right? It was my coding journal. So I wrote down my tutorials, and it would help solidify things in my mind of like working with Node or working with whatever I was building that day. And Google said, you know what, this is good stuff. Let me send you traffic. And then from there, we just kept doing more of the same stuff, which is writing good content.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember back in the day, I think myself and a lot of my friends we learned to code from Scotch. So in case anyone doesn't know, it's this business was called Scotch.io. Um, and if you did learn to code from 20, I think 2014, 2015, around that time, you probably like read something from Scotch or received something from Scotch or came across Scotch in some way. So that's amazing. At that time, did you have a job or it was just Scotch you were working on?
No, I had a job. I worked at a place called Papillon. It was they did helicopter tours over the Grand Canyon, and it was basically like I was on their coding team, and it was basically like we were building a mini Expedia. And
Yeah,
I can't tell you how complex those systems are. Like the amount of ways that ticketing changes based on the day, based on the weather, based on like how many flights are booked that day. Like doing those systems are bananas. It is ridiculous.
yeah. I absolutely had no idea you had a job then because like you worked on like Scotch, like you spent. Okay, I remember I was in Nigerian time then, and you were always available Nigerian time for some reason. So you were probably available
Y-
the whole time. How did you
yeah.
manage your time then?
Yeah, I don't think I really did. Like back then this was kind of like just everything, right? Like everything I did, I was um in my 20s, and it was just like, look, let me just code. I just want to build stuff. And
Yeah,
that's what it shaped up to
that's
be. So like if I was awake
yeah.
at like all hours of the day, it's probably cuz I was.
That's really cool. So when Google started sending you all this traffic, when did you figure out, oh, okay, maybe we could make money out of this? It could be a business.
Yeah. It actually I was writing in April. Yeah. And it took about 8 months before Google realized, "Hey, this is a good domain. They have good content. Let's send them traffic." So there was really no content, or sorry, no traffic until around November. So I was just writing into the void basically, and nobody
Yeah.
was coming to read until November.
Wow.
And as far as SEO is concerned, it takes time for a domain to build up that sort of authority, right? So I guess the
And
journey of learning that you can monetize a blog is pretty common across all blogs, right? Like you start on just good Google display ads, and you just add their little snippet, and then you start getting some money there, and then you can bump up to a different display ad network. Buy sell ads is who we used by the end of it, and then you jump up to sponsorships, which is kind of like the big money, right? And then
yeah.
from there, yeah.
So did you have like traffic thresholds before you could jump any of these levels? Because I'm sure it's probably some of the folks listening to these have blogs and they probably want to monetize it and hopefully one day gets as big as Scotch. So did you just like start small and then when you got like certain amount of traffic, you decided, oh, I need to reach out to folks and get them to advertise stuff?
Yeah, we got lucky. Like I used Buy-Sell ads pretty early, and they did a great job of saying, "Hey, we can help you find those sponsors." So they actually went and found sponsors for us. And you hinted at that. We'll talk about it, but like everything but the code, right? Like the sales, the marketing yourself, all that stuff. I wasn't that great at it, so I didn't really go out and say, "Hey, do you want to sponsor this website?" They did it for me, and they took like a 30% cut, which honestly was fine. Um, but yeah,
Huh.
to hit those thresholds, I think it wasn't that bad. Like maybe 10,000 page views per month, and there's all sorts of advertisers at all sorts of sizes that will pay different levels of money.
Yeah. So that was some sort of like a revenue share partnership with Buy Salads. Because I didn't know that sort of like arrangement could be possible for someone with 10,000 views a month, right? I would
Yeah,
think you would need to get to like, the 100K at least before you can start to approach organizations like Buy Salads.
yeah, and actually, you might be right. I don't really remember the exact numbers. 100,000. I would say if you're getting 100,000 views, you can definitely go to somebody and say, "Hey, give me some money
Yeah,
for a spot."
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So did you explore any other forms of like partnerships aside Buy Salads? Did people come to you to say, "Hey, we know Scotch is pretty popular, and we want to like partner with you in one way or the other"?
yeah. I wouldn't say there were too many of those. There was a couple like, "Hey, we have a YouTube channel. Could we put our YouTube channels, our videos on the blog, and like we write a blog post for it?" And there were like one-off partnerships, but I wouldn't say there was anything major. Um, I think the next step for us after just sponsorships would have been, let me see if we can create courses and do like premium content, I guess, is the next step.
Yeah. Did those work? Like the premium content and getting, because I know we had like at that time Scotch had you could sign up, you had an account, you could track courses. We started a bunch of like JavaScript courses, you wrote some yourself. Did you get traction from those and also Was there like enough retention on stuff like courses?
Yeah. Yeah, good question. We got traction, definitely. We actually got up to about 15,000 MRR monthly MRR. But maybe one of my biggest mistakes is I stopped making courses. I stopped recording videos. Uh,
That's
I don't
good
know,
money.
got yeah, yeah.
15K.
Yeah, and I like just let it go to the wind, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
problem I think with blogs is they're great at bringing in traffic, getting you to know your community, but you have to find a way to monetize it, right? And most people go ads or sponsorships, and that's great. But I don't think that's the ultimate goal of the blog, right? Like the blog is a great funnel to feed into either a paid premium product or other projects, or it's basically SEO, it's traffic, right? It's top of funnel. So I thought that we were doing fine, kind of let that all go away, the courses side of things. But I think looking back, it was a mistake because we had the funnel, we had it going into the premium product, and everybody was happy, right? So yeah, I think now that I don't have Scotch, right? Like the years following that, I think the hardest thing for me was seeing that, like, oh, I don't have this giant group of traffic that I can pull anymore into new projects and fun projects like that. So it's something I had to think about moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of, Scotch being that funnel, um, did it do like a good job? Because I know you had like other smaller projects at the time. Were you able to get enough traffic from Scotch? Also, what channels worked? So was it just like web traffic, or did you have like newsletters or the social media? Which of these marketing channels work? Because most times blogs are like a means to an end. They are not the end, right? But with
Yeah.
Scotch, it felt like that was it. And that was
Yeah.
like the first time I saw something like that. So was it also great at being the means to some other end, to either a side project you had at the time?
Yeah, I like I said, it went to the courses, which was great, right? And I had side courses here and there that the traffic did well for, but that was ultimately, I think, one of the things that I missed was having it lead into something more permanent than just a side project for fun, right? Um, and we kind of see
Yeah.
this with the way that the big blogs have gone. Smashing Magazine, who I love still, right? Like they did a great job of funneling all of that traffic into conferences. They do great at conferences. CSS Tricks has done a great job at pushing people, not pushing, but like nudging people into CodePen, right? And CodePen is gigantic now. So having missed that opportunity, I think, like, yeah, you're right. Blogs are not the end, right? Like, blogs are the beginning of a conversation.
Yeah, that's that's amazing to see. So I guess anyone listening, at least just start a blog, and you don't know where it's where it's gonna lead to, right? And
Yeah, and
so eventually, yeah. Sorry, go on.
no, it's interesting. Like, I wonder, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well. How is blogging in the world of AI? And what's up, Rashid, in chat?
Yeah. So with AI, there've been like, I would say, like two sides to it. There's everyone screaming, "Hey, this is great! We're crushing SEO with it. We're creating a lot of content." And then there's the folks that are saying, "Nah, this doesn't work." Right? Being in the content business myself full time now, I would say I'm sort of like in the middle. If you want to create something original, something creative, I would move away from like AI stuff, right? We haven't seen any success with SEO when it comes to AI content, especially when it's specialized. And you're talking about like technical content, for instance, right? Not much luck with all the like generic stuff, how to cooking recipes. You probably would get some luck with that. With travel content, you could get some luck with that. Obviously, it's a lot easier to generate content now, as I've seen, but still, it's difficult to create very domain specific creative content, right? So writing about certain technologies and frameworks and how you actually do stuff and the thought process behind it. That's something we've still, we've not seen a lot of AI. And we have a lot of people, a lot of clients come to us at Hackmamba for that specific problem because they want to create content for their product, but not something generic, not something top of funnel, something a little bit more with a lot more depth, I would say. And with AI, yeah, you could get like outlines, and even the outlines are like 60% what you'd get, and then you'd have to like tell a better story with that. So in terms of efficiency, AI helps you get some way, but you have to do the rest of it.
That's a great note to say that content is not just top of funnel anymore, right? Like it has to be that middle conversation, that middle funnel where it's like, oh, this actually strengthened my connection with this brand or this person.
Yeah, yeah. With the top of funnel content, it's very possible to get 80% of the ways. You're trying to talk about comparing front end frameworks, right? Yeah, you'd easily write that with AI, unbiased. But if you're trying to write about some React concept or Next.js concept, you would need to go and do like some a bit more in-depth research, follow like the story, and then look at how you tell a great story with that, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until GPT-5 comes out, and who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I keep thinking about that because I always have to think about what's next. What could happen next. Uh, a lot of people have spoken to me and been like, "Hey, you've written what thousands of blog posts for your clients. What if you take all that content and train a GPT and it can write something similar, right?"
Mm,
And I'm
yeah,
like, first of all, I don't want to go to jail. I don't
yeah,
want to go to jail
yeah.
for breaking all the NDA laws there are. You know, yeah. And
They're basically asking you to create a writing clone of yourself.
yeah, yeah, it's like put myself out of business,
Yeah.
which wouldn't like wouldn't which I don't know if that's gonna last long.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of legalities, right? With Scotch, did you have to deal with like any of that, or even currently? So I think maybe we could, yeah, with Scotch, did you have to deal with like any of the legalities maybe during like acquisition? How did the acquisition happen? What can you share from there? I'm sure like a lot of people would want to know as well, but
Yeah.
whatever you can share public
Yeah,
is
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Yeah, the acquisition was interesting because the first email came through and it went to my spam folder and I almost missed it completely. And it was like, hey, want to chat about like scotch? And I was like, no, it seems like spam. So I don't know what happened. Somehow I was like, all right, I'll just respond real quick. So I responded like, hey, what's up? And that was like the beginning of the whole thing, right? But yeah, I think um legally we had never, and like you were a big part of like the process and of scotch itself, so we never asked people for um like ownership clauses when they wrote articles, right? Like that said that once you write an article and we pay you money, the ownership transfers over to scotch. We never wrote those. um
Yeah.
so we had to like chase down all these authors and actually get that in writing um,
Wow.
before all that happened. And that was like, hey, this has to happen in 1 week kind of thing. So we had to track down like whatever 600 authors, and it worked
Yeah.
out. Everybody was like super open to it, super friendly. So that was good to see. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I would say the overall transition and acquisition went as smoothly as you would want it to go. Um, I think the interesting part to that story is like what happens after. Man,
Yeah.
I had to do so much soul searching after like that happened because you build this thing for 5, 6 years, and you think
Yeah.
about it day and night, and then you don't have it, and it's like, what?
What do you do next?
I
What are
don't
you
know.
supposed to do with your life
Yeah,
now?
yeah. What do you do? What do you think about? What do you write? Like, uh,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
took a pretty big pill on learning how to just like relax, how to,
Did you
and
ever
I
do that? Like
to
relax?
relax and enjoy life. I think I've done a better job of it recently. My wife
Yeah.
Cap has done a better job of teaching me to just like smell the roses and go travel some more and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I see you doing the same, right? Like you're all over the place.
Yeah. I'm trying my best, trying to be like
No, it's
you
backwards.
know. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to get some rest time, I would say. I remember during the time when Scotch got acquired, I think it was Courtney at the time that would send like emails about like these contracts and like, hey, we need to sign this thing. And everyone was really open to it because yeah, it was all great as Scotch. And it seemed like you did a lot of delegation, right, with the business side of things, and you handled a lot of the engineering side. How did all that delegation work? How did you find people like Courtney, for instance, that handled invoices at the time? We love getting emails from Courtney because yeah, yeah, it was gonna be a great day
She was
after
the money.
that.
Yeah.
She was the money
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, honestly, I got lucky there too. I got a virtual assistant through a company called Zirtual. I don't know if they're still around. Um, and just trained her up on all of our processes. And basically, like, if we had a process that I needed to do more than like 5 times a week or a month, I would write it up, send it to her, and maybe record a video to kind of like delegate it. And then that is like a living document of what that task is. It should be that anybody can take that document and do the same task, right?
Yeah,
And it helped a lot. Yeah, just having a lot of those like mundane tasks off of my mind. And I really need to do it again. I don't work with Courtney anymore.
yeah.
I stopped having
I
enough
guess that
mundane
was that,
tasks
that
to do.
freed up time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely did free up like a lot of time for you to like work on other stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it totally did.
It seems like
And
you're thinking about looking for Courtney again to
yeah, yeah,
free up some more
looking for
time.
somebody again. Yeah. I've seen a lot of these like, and it's interesting cuz like, and I'm love to get your thoughts on this cuz we're both in a position where we're building a new company, right? Relatively new. Um there's these companies that say, "Oh, you can like hire uh, a product marketer for this amount of money." So it's like not just a virtual assistant anymore. It's like a specialized role in your company that you can just kind of like buy and slot in. Have you tried that? How do you feel about stuff like that?
Um, so with Hackmamba, I've been pretty lucky. Um, the first people I hired at the time I hired them, they weren't experts, right? But they had some very specific area and section of the company and tasks they handled, right? And we sort of had this culture of we just get stuff done. We don't ask for permissions, right? Rather, we ask for like forgiveness if something goes wrong, and we try to talk about stuff as much as possible. Um, so with hiring people, it's also been that way. We try as much as possible not to hire uh, like people that have like very specific roles, right? So
Hmm.
specialists now. At this time, we mostly hire generalists, or at least someone that has like they have very specific set of skills, but they're open to being generalists. Because personally, I'm a generalist myself. I do like everything across board. Every other person does a bit of something, at least for now. What we start to scale, which we're currently in that stage where we're growing. We're seeing people, we're bringing on more people to take on like a bit more specific tasks, and those previous like generalists, they move up a bit to become like leaders of those teams, right? Because they know everything. They know like they have lessons, they have like battle scars, they've seen like things go wrong, they've seen things go right. So at this stage, at the early stage, it's finding people that have like specific set of skills, but they are generalists, general, and they are genuinely, interested in learning more about, for instance, with marketing, we have Henry on our team. Great guy, fantastic guy. Henry came on to handle a lot of like the social media stuff. But since then, he's morphed into more of like a head of marketing position where he handles both like content for Hackmamba for our clients. So handle like SEO requirements for them. Handle a lot of like the content strategy for Hackmamba, our SEO stuff. We brought on someone else to handle just the social media bits, and then Henry sort of like supervises them. He's seen what worked from 2022, all the quarters. So that's sort of like the approach we take to hiring. We bring on a salesperson, for instance. They should be able to do inbound. They should be able to do inbound, outbound, follow up on leads from their network, but probably at this time our strategy is just outbound sales. So that's our
Mm,
focus, but they're able to go like across board and they're able to contribute that. At this early stage, that's sort of like what worked for us.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried like hiring offshore to do like product growth or product marketing, and it's just that, and that's like the only thing they would do. There's this book I read. I think it's Good to Great or Great to Better,
Hmm.
something along those lines that says you hire great people first. I think it's great people first that have like great thoughts and great processes. So yeah, I'm really big on finding like great people that can start from like zero, and I reward them for that really well. I think I learned
Yeah.
this from you actually. Those are one of like the one of the things I learned I learned from
Yeah.
Scotch, I would say.
No, I think it makes sense, right? Like the whole point of building this stuff, like money's great, whatever, but like a lot of building this stuff is it has to be fun. If it's not fun, what are we doing? Like, why would I waste all of my brain power
Yeah.
thinking about it all day, right? Um,
Hmm.
so what else makes it fun? Bringing friends along, like
Yeah.
and growing. Like what when they grow, you grow, company grows. Like everybody's having a good time, and I think
Yeah.
like you and I have a camaraderie because we did that with Scotch, right? Like you were one of our earliest authors, and then you like helped manage all the authors, and then like we saw where it went, and it's just good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but just I have a great time as much as possible. Sometimes we get like as a business, there's like business pressures, especially when you work with like clients and you have obligations to them. And then everyone feels that pressure. But then once we're having fun, it's evenly distributed, so we all feel it together. We're there for both the good times. We're there for the good times
Yeah,
and the bad times as well.
right.
Yeah.
Rising tide and common pressure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So speaking of marketing, right? I think that's something a lot of people struggle
yeah,
with video tap. So moving away from Scotch now to video tap, the
yeah,
newest baby in town, right?
yeah.
Um, how have you handled like marketing? So have you tried like the previous strategy with Scotch? I know this is like purely SaaS. How have you handled like marketing and growth?
Yeah. Um, terribly. That's like the best answer for it. Terribly. I like to say I haven't done any outbound marketing, right? Like we built a good product, and really the marketing that I've done is connecting with the network that I have, right? Like it's a great tool for video creators, and I just so happen to have a good network of video creators, which they've done great at coming in, giving early feedback, trying out the product, helping fix and improve things. And I don't think I've done any outbound marketing, like going out, reaching out to influencers, trying to get sponsorship spots there, doing any articles in SEO. Like, haven't done any of that yet. I think there's a lot of different growth tactics that I need to do, but I keep getting in this trap. And I don't know if it's a trap because it's helping, right? Like, I have to get the product to a certain point. And I think we're pretty close at where we are right now. But um, this is the year I told myself, look, definitely we have to start doing a lot stronger marketing, or even trying.
Yeah. How have you grown the current users? Like, how do you acquire the current users you have?
Yeah. We also need to do better at tracking, because I don't have the biggest clue on where everybody came from. It's funny because like we get people that are in the developer relations, in marketing, like we know them as friends on Twitter or whatever. And okay, that makes sense. But then we get some people like,
Yeah.
one of our biggest clients is a real estate agent that processes all of her videos, all of our YouTube videos. She passes them in, gets a blog post, puts it on her website. I still don't know how she found us, and you should ask. But there's a lot like her, like
Yeah.
in the fitness world, that process their YouTube videos. And yeah, once we nail down like how they found us, we can, replicate that funnel. And
Yeah.
that's something that needs to be done. But right now, there's still a little product market fit that needs to happen. And SEO, definitely, like it was
Yeah.
been my bread and butter for years, and I have not applied it here.
Yeah. I think the thing with attribution, right? So when you have like this customer, you don't know where they came from. Um, that's something a lot of teams struggle with, but something we've also seen that's been really successful once we're able to crack it somehow. And even just getting on a call with them and be like, hey, like, how'd you find us? Right. And then we just focus on that channel wherever they came from. And not just that channel, but also the same audience. So if they're like a fitness person, we go to like we try to find all fitness instructors fit the same profile and reach out to them. Honestly, and it's worked. That's what we've done at Hackmamba, for instance. When we get on a new client that comes in inbound, we use that to inform our outbound strategies. Right. So someone comes inbound and they have like a specific set of problems that we probably haven't even thought of. Maybe we don't even offer 100% of what they want,
Mm.
right? And we have to like modify stuff, move stuff around to accommodate them. What that just tells me instantly is okay, there's this problem this guy has, like this person has. It's probably like a couple other people that have these problems, and this problem is worth money. The solution is worth money. So I immediately like craft like an outbound campaign and say, yeah, we're targeting this audience, this ICP for this offering, and let's see. And we've had a lot of success. We've had a lot of success, like continually, like informing our outbound strategies with what comes in inbound. Because also with folks that come inbound, they're a lot more tolerable. They can answer your questions. They came with like a burning problem that they need a solution to. So you can ask them, like qualify them all day long, and they're happy to like answer those questions. So you can help them. So we take that whole information and then we craft a campaign and just like go out to folks, and that's really worked for us.
So you're saying I should just talk to my customers and ask them where they came from?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that easy?
yeah. Honestly, it is. I mean, not everyone will want to talk to you,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I've also seen that sending people like very the most like basic emails that would come from like a normal person. It doesn't even have to be formal. I ditched the we. I never say we anymore. Previously, I'll be like, we were like a huge company. We've decided we want to do this or we want to talk to you. Hell no, we don't do that anymore. I say I, William,
Yeah.
myself. I
Human.
want to talk
Yeah,
to you. I found, yeah, myself, I found this thing. I just want to talk to you about it. I think this thing you're working on is pretty cool. Do you have some time? And I get responses from people because they feel like they sort of want to like connect, right? So definitely you should emails to those people. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens is they don't respond.
yeah. Or they yell and they get mad at you. That's like,
Yeah.
how would you say that's like? Because fear of rejection is one thing. Fear of, I think, being in the CEO, or like even in any marketing where you connect with your customers. Um, there's always a threat of somebody just like getting mad at you, going off, and just like being angry.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, what's a good tactic to deal with that, and to like lower the barrier and saying like, look, uh, I shouldn't be like scared of this outcome, right?
Yeah. hmm is this before they get mad or after they get mad?
Before. After they get mad,
Okay.
I think it's easier after they're mad because
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know they're
definitely.
mad. That's fine.
Yeah. So there was a time when I just started trying out like sales, all the sales stuff. Um, I would send people cold DMs, like genuinely, I want to connect with them.
Mm,
But I was a little bit too quick to sell stuff to them to like say, hey, you should check out this if you have like this problem, right? So on this occasion, I reach out to someone, and he's like, "Yeah, you're trying to spam me, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to spam you. I'm not a bot." He's like, "No, you are a bot." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like, I know this guy. So he's based in Dubai. I'm like, I know this guy. He's a CTO of a similar company. I could connect you both together and you see if you can work. He's like, "Oh yeah, you see, you're trying to offer me something. You're trying to offer me something now." I'm like, I'm just trying to be
helpful.
helpful. So
Yeah.
lesson from that is some people are just, you know, insufferable. There's nothing you can do to please them. Whatever you say, they're going to take it. They're going to take it against you. But on the other side, with getting people to feel comfortable initially, I think it's more. I like to see it as grooming,
Mm,
right? So, I currently I just connect with people on LinkedIn. I don't say anything to them, and interact with your stuff. I have no intention of selling them stuff,
mm,
right? I've learned the art, the subtle art of, I would call it passive marketing and passive sales, right? So
mm.
you're not selling something to someone, but you're just influencing their psyche somehow, right? You're sharing stuff, they're seeing it. You're talking about their problems and their pain points, and you're hammering on it, and they're seeing it. And what we've seen is a lot of times they just come to us. They're like, "Hey, do you? I see you do this. Let's talk about that. I have like a similar problem." Right. So it's sort of like Inception. Make them think it so it doesn't they don't feel like
Yeah.
they don't feel like you said it to them. So
Yeah, that
that's
brand
kind of like
awareness,
what's
right?
worked.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
the subtle art of connection, really. What you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there we've gone on to have like other conversations and talk about stuff and connect on other stuff. And I try as much as possible to either get on a call, like have like FaceTime with someone, or even meet them physically, buy them a drink. that's also like that's also
Uh,
helped. They just like
uh,
trust you and connect.
yeah, that's like the number one hack is just get them in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you can, you just get them in person. I forgot to ask here, what's the what's the motivation behind like video tap? I know with Scott it was you documenting your stuff for a couple of months and then it just blew up and Google helped. With video tap, how did you get like the idea from? Did you want to just create an AI product or not?
Yeah, I actually started before, like, because ChatGPT, the API that I got access to was March of 2023 of last year. It hasn't even been a year since
Wow.
ChatGPT's API, right? Like,
Yeah.
which is
It's like
bananas.
November.
A year, and it's already changed like everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I started before that, and it's really a need for. I'm in DevRel. I do a lot of like videos to social media clips, videos to blog posts, videos to social media posts. So it was like, hey, let's try to see if we can do this. And the product was bad early on. It was like not usable. A lot of like, it was basically a smart formatting UI. And you would just like drag
Yeah.
and drop things around. And then the ChatGPT API came out and it was like, oh, this actually changes the product immensely. And it actually helped a lot. Um, and since then, that's when it really turned around and actually people started seeing the value of what we could do. Um, so really, I built it for myself. And I'm looking here to start a podcast, YouTube channel with my wife, Cap, and we'll be doing our own stuff. And this is like another way to say, like, we have this cool tool that basically takes these videos, turns it into all the marketing material we need, and then can send it out. So I really just needed it for myself. And if you need something for
Yeah.
yourself, there's a pretty good chance there's another person that might need it. And then
Yeah.
hopefully the domino effect keeps going.
Yeah. I guess that's me as a product manager. That's like one of the best ways to build stuff is you build something you can use, right? Something you can dog food yourself as well. Um,
Dog food's like
yeah.
my
So
favorite tech word.
yeah,
I try to use it
yeah. I
all the
learned it
time.
in like the last 2 years. Yeah. I guess anyone that's building stuff and isn't using it, I've seen a couple of those too. So someone's building
Oh
like a
yeah.
product and they don't use it. They're just guessing. And
Yeah.
sometimes they talk to like users and hope to get the right features or get like the right problems to build. But yeah, definitely that's a good motivation for that.
Yeah.
So
And you
what
can really
should
tell in a product too when there's like
Mhm.
the engineers aren't using the product. There's like a weird lack of love, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. How do you manage to juggle engineering and thinking about like all this, like the business side, like growth? You need to manage growth. Also, within this early stage where you're trying to find product market fit, right? I mean, not having product market fit doesn't mean you won't sell. So you're still
Right.
building and you're still thinking about selling. Are you looking to go I'm going to delegate every single thing? I mean, you need money for that as well.
Yeah.
But if you wouldn't do that, what's the alternative? How do you plan to manage that?
Yeah. One of the things that I really like as far as like engineering ideologies is the shape up method, where you kind of pick
Hmm.
one thing or a couple things to work on for 6 weeks. And then that's the like only thing you work on for 6 weeks. And then you regroup. You have like a backlog of things that you want to work on next. You pick like two things, and then that's your thing for 6 weeks. Um, so it stops it from being like, oh, there's a fire. Let me just add this on and change what I've been working on. And in theory, it sounds great. I try to operate that way, but a lot of times fires come up, right? But I think the way that we've handled it is kind of just like go slowly and just work on one product or one problem at a time. And
Yeah,
the accumulation of like constantly working will build up to something great. And that's not to say that you can just keep working hard and it'll all pan out, right? Like you have to pick the right things to work on. And
hmm
I think listening to the customers is really the best way to kind of get a gauge
yeah,
on what needs next.
yeah. So do you work in like 6 week sprints? That long?
We try, but I think a month long is more realistic for a
Okay.
team our size, like three people,
Yeah.
three engineers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. And currently it's all just like engineers on the team, shipping code every other
yeah.
day.
We have somebody that helps out on customer support, customer success, and then we just hired somebody for helping out with outbound sales and like all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. That's the fun stuff.
yeah,
The really fun
yeah.
stuff, I think, for
I'm
now.
I'm learning it's the fun stuff. Yeah, I need to get farther into it.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. It's usually not fun on a lot of days.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a for everybody in chat, I had to like ping William for like sales tips and like how he structures all that good stuff. And uh yeah, you've got good wisdom on all that from what you've learned.
Yeah. It's just, from trying and failing. And yeah, speaking of trying and failing, I had this like sales interview that I completely flunked last year, towards the end of last year. It's like I got on this interview and it was with someone that didn't want to speak to me at all, right? But it felt like they had to get on the call. So I get on the call with them, and basically they were just trying to find a way to say no. right? And I wasn't prepared for that. And that taught me like a lot of things. I'm actually happy that that call happened, right?
Mm,
Because I learned so much from, all the different ways. Normally, you would have to learn about objections and what are like possible objections someone could like, pose in a sales call. And for that call, I think that was like the height of all the objections I could ever get in one call. Yeah. So I left that call feeling like, oh shit, like why did I even get on this call? But then, fast forward to this year, it's like I get on calls, I hear some of those objections, and I immediately turn those objections into like quick pitches, and they've helped us like close what 2 deals
mhm.
already just because of those objections I learned from that call. So it's always been like a constant, it's this constant state of like iterating on all the no's and finding a way to turn them to yeses, I would say.
That's great feedback.
Yeah. So what's, just to probably like wrap things up, what's next for Video Tap? Also, what's the future for it? Do you hope to like bootstrap this and then see what happens, or you're gonna build it and like maybe try to like exit to sell it, get it micro acquired, or have you even thought of that?
Yeah, micro acquired. Um, I mean, that's great that that ecosystem exists.
Mhm, yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I've definitely thought about it. I think an exit would be great. I think now that I have two small kids, I want to work on this project, see where this goes, build it up, make it the best product it can possibly be, solve, like, provide good value to video creators, and then exit would be great. And then I think next, like right around when my kids become like that 6, 7, 8 range, look back into starting something in the education space. Like, because then I'll directly have that need, right? Like my kids will be getting into that level of education, and if I can help out there, I feel like I can help out other, parents that need education. So I think that's my goal, is to see where this road takes me, and then in 5 years, 6 years from now, it would be in that space.
Yeah. That's cool. You want them to be software engineers and entrepreneurs
I
too.
I thought about this a lot. I don't think that's yes. Um but I don't want to like force them into it. I think what I want for them is freedom. Like, we have so much
Yeah.
freedom as these uh working in tech, right? And tech gives freedom to not just only software engineers, but like anybody working in a tech company can work remote and they have freedom. I think what I want for them is to just say, like, look, if you want to take a week off and go somewhere and just enjoy life
Yeah.
and see the world, like, you should have that option. You shouldn't have to like tie yourself to a job that says like, look, you can only get like 2 weeks of vacation per year and you got to book it in January. Like, that's not great.
Yeah.
So freedom, that's
Yeah.
what I want.
Yeah, definitely. I think and tech is like I think the path with the least barrier to freedom
Mm,
currently,
yes.
career freedom. Until something else comes up, who knows? Maybe it's video streaming or gaming or something.
Yeah,
But
I
for
think
now,
I mean,
definitely.
even yeah. And who knows what AI will shake out to be, right? Like a lot of new opportunities will pop up. Uh
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
yeah, it's just up to us to be flexible.
yeah. Speaking of opportunities, are you also always on the lookout for opportunities? But it's like, yeah, I've got like a job to do. I've got a product to build. That's it.
No, I'm like, I don't know if you saw this like stupid little game I made. It's an AI
Yeah,
like
Twin Peaks.
word, yeah, Twin Picks. I just made
Yeah.
this on the side for fun. And no, I think if I'm not looking out for fun opportunities or like new side projects, and I don't have enough time for those things, then I feel
Hmm.
like I have managed my time poorly. Like, there should always be like space for relaxation or for play, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's right. I just shared a link to Twin Peaks in case
Oh,
anyone wants
cool.
to check it out. It's a game like Wordle, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
with like AI
daily
generated
challenge.
images.
Yeah. Yep, yep. Um
Yeah, I sucked at Wordle so bad. I got like PTSD. I haven't tried any similar or
yeah,
alternative games. I'll probably give
I
it a
ho-
try.
I hope people play this game long enough to say that about this game. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah, so like
that's pretty
this
cool.
project is fun, right? Like I launched it back in end of the last year.
Hmm.
I built it when I was at like a holiday party with my family, and since then it's got almost 8,000 players since like in the past month. About
Yeah, and
um,
do you know where all of like they all came from? Do you
yeah,
have some attribution on that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see, attribution: direct slash unknown, half of them. And then
Yeah.
there's Twitter, there's Google, there's a website called there's an AI for that.com that sent a lot of traffic.
Ah, yeah.
But yeah, I think
You know,
I think this is going to be an interesting one to see where it goes, because I would love to just sell this thing because it's costing me so much money on image generation, and
yeah.
or find
It's
a
got good
sponsor.
SEO.
Yeah, I would
It's
love to see if we
yeah.
could find a sponsor. If anybody that does
Mhm.
image generation wants to sponsor this thing.
Yeah, like I just searching for twin dash peaks. So not even like a branded keyword. Like twin peaks and it's like top five. It's like number what? Number five?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like number six here at least for me.
Hmm.
I see it on Google search. So it's got like great SEO juice for Twin Peaks. Maybe you sell it like to like I don't know folks that make baby stuff
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
it goes
illustrations.
high.
There's like a lot, like what is Adobe's image generator now? Because there's Dolly, there's Midjourney,
Yeah,
uh, Amazon has its
there's
own.
yeah, almost like a lot of, if not all the top AI vendors have like their own image generation
Yeah.
models.
If
Yeah.
anybody of them wants like a top of funnel high traffic thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think something like this would be great to get. It would be great to get people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's the thing too, is like if we had fun messing with Dolly at a holiday party with my
Hmm.
family, so I was like, let's just build this fun game. So um there should,
Yeah,
yeah, again,
that's
always be room for just like messing around.
hmm yeah. So with this is because I know it costs a lot. If
Yep.
someone can like get it off your hands, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let me go look at I'm using Cloudflare's AI gateway to track
Yeah.
my usage. And let's see, from January 3rd to January 17, it was $300 in image generation.
Wow. That's in
Wow.
that's in 2 weeks.
That's in 2 weeks, yeah. Um
Man, that's money to change the world. That's a lot.
I know, but like what are we at? We've had 20,000 pictures generated since we started. So like a month ago. And
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Fun project. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. But anyways, I think everyone should check it out. Play it as much as possible so Chris can get out and stop spending all
Be
this
more
money
be
on
more
it,
bankrupt.
on it for free. And be let's save Chris from bankruptcy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have plans to like monetize it? Have you thought about that? I mean, it's okay if it's a free tool, but have you thought about like monetization if you already get like so much traffic?
Yeah, I thought about ads. A sponsor would be better because you can control the UI of like how the sponsorship looks, and they can be more in line with what the brand is, right?
Hmm.
I haven't dove into it too far. I don't think I'll do display ads, but I think I'll jump to sponsorship. Um, and like I said about blog, it's like top of funnel that can lead into a premium product. I don't even have a premium
Yeah.
thing to funnel this to, so
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah. And an interesting thought that just came to mind is I see a lot of like creators, once they build something, the first goal is how can I get subscriptions, MRR? How can I get it going?
Yeah.
Maybe maybe there's an alternate like monetization plan, which is yeah, we're gonna do like sponsored ads and it's with like specific folks, and we're going to do like the sales and marketing bit for that to get those people. I mean, if you get someone sponsoring and paying 6 to 10K a month, right? I think that's better than charging $10 per month
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You would need like 1,000 users, a
Yeah,
thousand
10K for
customers,
this
not
thing?
users.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that. Yeah, 1K for this thing.
Yeah, yeah. If it blows
Terry
up
in
and you
chat,
get
thanks for trying it out.
Yeah, if it blows up and you get a lot of users, you probably get like someone. I mean, someone to pay you that much to get like a placed ad right on
Yeah,
top or
it's
after
traffic, right?
an
Yeah,
image generated. Yeah, it's traffic.
yeah.
Traffic sells
People
once that's
people
like
are yeah,
the
people are
people.
buying traffic and audiences these days. Like if you have a
Hmm.
newsletter with like a good amount of users, you could probably sell your newsletter. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely get sponsorships.
yeah. With newsletters, I know there's like Beehive, and it's a lot more structured now. From when I mean, Scotch had a newsletter. They were like what 90K at that time.
Yep.
Was it yeah, it was like a lot of people
Yeah. It was
on the
around
newsletter
100.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you think
Um
about like monetizing that at the time or at any time?
it was always just sponsorships as well.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
like $1,000 for a spot in the newsletter kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess folks listening, you just know, yeah, you don't have to chase like monthly subscriptions. You could get someone to sponsor like placement on your product or your
Yeah.
your site. You just need to
Yeah.
get a lot of foot traffic in first and show value, and then folks will come after you then.
Yeah, there's it's hard on both sides, right? Like trying to chase MRR and be a SaaS and get monthly payments, and then it's also tough to like build the audience that is large enough to get sponsorships, right? But then you got to like
Hmm.
chase sponsors monthly or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, Ideally, you would
yeah.
do the high traffic thing, which would get sponsorships, and then you would have that funnel into a SaaS type thing that would get the monthly recurring. So then you kind of had like the full circle, but easier said than done, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah.
that's all you have to do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, just tie it here, send this here, and then
yeah,
it all just
yeah.
works.
It's nice circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, we're coming up on time now. Is there anything you want to ask, anything you want to share? Folks you want people to check out, or even like a question you have for me? We're happy to
Um.
take them, just
Yeah.
go for
No.
it.
No. I. So I haven't really done any like podcasts or streams or anything like that in like 2 years, maybe. Um,
Hmm.
so this is honestly my first in a while, and honestly, just thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out because this is a lot of fun. I forgot how fun these
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, these are really fun. So I thought this year to just start making content that I'm really comfortable with, and I can make. I mean, it's like having a 1 hour conversation with someone having drinks. Only it's streamed live, and we talk about stuff I'm interested in, and they will find beneficial, and others would also find valuable. And
Mhm.
just do it consistently every Wednesday, right? So come rain, come sun. Wednesday evenings have like a calendar slot. Anyone can come on for an hour and just talk about everything outside code.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
it was really fun having you on the stream. And for everyone listening, if you want to also jump on the stream sometime to share your experience, talk about your product, um, just everything that is in engineering, because there's a lot of engineering podcasts that are really great, but no one talks about how to sell what you built. So that's what this is about. And I'm really happy you came on, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, William. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So for others listening, if you can hit the subscribe button, I don't know which way it is. somewhere down here, up
Down, yeah.
here. And yeah, hit the subscribe button so you get notified for like next episodes. But every Wednesday, I'm going to be hanging out with someone cool. I don't know if there's going to be anyone as cool as Chris, but hopefully we'll find someone
There's tons,
that'll
yeah.
come on,
Yeah. Thanks.
and
Thanks. I hope.
we'll talk about stuff. Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks, Zainab,
Yeah,
in chat. Sorry if I pronounce names wrong.
yeah. Yeah, and we'll call it. I think we'll call it an evening. And for anyone that's missed this, you can always watch this recording again, either on X, Twitter, Elon's Twitter, or on YouTube. And I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Thank you so much for coming
Cool.
up, Chris.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great evening and rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.